Guys, Carrie here from Second Spring Naturals. I'm coming to you today to give you 10 tips to create an Etsy shop that is successful. So if you're just starting out, I thought I would compile 10 of my best tips for getting started on Etsy. I've had a shop on Etsy for about 4 years now, 4.5 years, and it took me a really long time, really the latter part of 2018 into 2019, to really get this shop up and moving. And it's been a lot of trial and error, but I have found some things that are invaluable and I know what has worked for me. So I'm going to share some of those with you today. Number 1, choose a name that is meaningful. My name, Second Spring Naturals, comes from a quote by Albert Camus. I am a literature teacher. I've been a teacher for 20 years, and I wanted something that resonated with me, and I wanted something that was meaningful to women to kind of signify that change over 40 that we hit, that doesn't have to be the end of anything, but really the beginning of a lot of new opportunities that we can see in vivid color. So that is why I wanted that name, Second Spring. Naturals, of course, applies to the products that I sell in my shop. So choose something meaningful. This is something that you're going to stay with. It's really hard to rebrand when you have a whole new name later on. So really give it some thought. Number 2, choose something you love as your main product. So you want to offer a product that you absolutely have a passion for making or creating. And the reason for this is you're going to spend a lot of time in your studio or in your office and a lot of time alone producing this product. And you want to make sure it's something you enjoy. The second part of this is that there will be times where it is very difficult for you to not quit what you are doing. And the reason is because there's a lot of competition. It takes a while to get established in the Etsy algorithm for certain keywords and so forth. And you might want to give up a lot of the time. All of us do. Anybody who has a business can relate to this. So you want to do something that you love so much that you will do even if you're not making any money, which you probably won't for a while, but that will change if you love what you're doing and you stick with it. Number 3, imagine who your customer is. So who is your ideal customer avatar? You've settled on a product that you love. Now, who is the person who would want to buy that? You want to know everything you possibly can about this customer and kind of have an image of that person in mind. The best way to do this is to think of someone who you might want to take an existing customer. So if you're just starting out and you have made a sale, or you've sold offline before, who is the person that's always raving about what it is that you love to make? Maybe it's a friend that you gave something to that is handmade. Person, why did they want to buy your products? This is going to help you when you go to list your products. So imagine who that customer is and maybe write some notes about it, or even think about it as you are writing up your product descriptions and act as if you are talking to that person. Number 4 is know what you are not good at. So we all have our own limitations, and as creators, we want to do all of the things and we want to have control over our shop. But there are some things that I have learned the hard way that I am not good at. I have wasted a lot of money, I've wasted a lot of time and resources and had to rebrand due to my own stubborn need to try to create everything myself. 2 of those things that I am not good at are graphic design. I don't know how to do graphic design. I can make some very basic things, but I'm not good at it. And I am not good at product photography. In e-commerce and an online store like Etsy, you have to have stellar photos. Find a photographer who is local and try to get a student for maybe a technical college, something like that in your area. It doesn't have to be as expensive as you think. I now have a photographer who does my products, and I have a photographer who does photos for me for Instagram and social media. The graphic design was one of the best investments that I made into my business. I have a graphic designer who does anything for me from banners to business cards to my logo to my labels on my products and the designs that go on my soap boxes. So working with her has really helped me establish a brand that I'm proud of, and I could not have done that part without her. So that's number 4. Number 5 is stick with one thing when you're starting. So to start with a quick story, when I was starting, I was selling handmade soaps and creams like I am now. But the teacher inside of me that loved to integrate like writing somehow into the shop, and this need to create something with writing on it was kind of overtaking the need to focus on one thing, like the soaps and the creams in my shop. And what I ended up doing was bringing in some like bracelets and things that had word charms on them, and some little signs, and even journals. I made handmade journals for a while. They didn't go with my shop and what my brand entailed. It just went against that vibe, and it showed, and it made my Etsy just slow to almost nothing for a while because of the changes that I made. So I finally figured out that I needed to remove those things and focus on the thing that I love to make, that I was good at. And if someday I wanted to make journals or something like that, I could do that. But right now I needed to just get good at this one thing. So that's what I did. I put all of my time and attention into the soaps and the creams, and those are the best selling items in my shop still today. And I let the others go. So this is something that speaks to your branding and your consistency in your shop, and what your buyers will see when they look in your shop and realize, oh, okay, well, she's serious about what she's doing, and she must be some kind of an expert in creating these things, because that is all she's offering, and it looks pretty consistent. Number 6, make your titles of your listings for 2019, this is relevant, short, and make them relevant to what the customer is searching for. So Etsy used to be jammed up with a lot of words and phrases stuffed into the title. Now you want to kind of focus on what that item is and what you actually think the customer will be searching for, and put those items in your tag. You also want to make sure your product descriptions are selling the customer. So I have a format that I like to use. I worked with a copywriter for a while, and I can refer you to a wonderful copywriter. If you're interested in that, you can see my Etsy link below. But when I write my product descriptions, the first paragraph is generally just pulling the reader in. So I'm a writing teacher also, and this would be considered like the hook. How are you hooking the reader? And you do that with active verbs and getting them to picture themselves actually using this product, or giving it to another person, or delighting their friend with the gift basket. So you want to use things like that to draw them in. Not, I made this. This is the soap that I love making, and it's my favorite. It needs to not be about me. It's about the person who is having the experience in my shop. Then I'll follow it with some bullet points with kind of the key features or benefits to what that product is. So what is it going to do for the customer, and what makes it stand out from other shops? And then you just close it, and you can leave in the close is kind of like a call to action. So what are you waiting for? Why wait any longer to take care of your skin? Something like that. And then I'll leave links to products that are similar after that. So if you like this product, you might want to consider buying one in a bundle, something like that. This speaks to your customer as well, in that you want to realize that your customer is going to want things to be a certain way. So maybe they don't, what I figured out, and it took me a really long time, is they don't just want to come in and buy bars of soap. Most of my customers on Etsy now, which is what made my shop kind of come alive, is that they're interested in buying gift boxes. So they buy gift boxes for friends, for family, and I send gift boxes out just over and over and over again, with the occasional plain soaps and creams going out. Is pick 1 or 2 social media platforms to market your Etsy shop. So I'm going to speak a little bit more about marketing your Etsy shop in a different video, but this is kind of the short and sweet version. Just pick something like Facebook, like Instagram. I would also incorporate Pinterest, where traffic that way to your shop. So you can focus on 1 or 2 of them instead of trying to do everything all at once, because you're going to be in a stage where you're just figuring out what your branding looks like and that kind of thing. But the best advice is to be consistent, to post often, and try to keep the message kind of the same so that people know it's coming from you. Number 8 is grow your local audience. This has been so important to the growth of my own business, either on Etsy or on my website, which is where I do the bulk of my business. But Etsy has been growing exponentially this past year, so I want to mention these things. growing my local audience by giving samples, by handing out business cards everywhere. I've grown an entire audience just in my Pilates class because I had one customer in there who started talking about my products to other customers. So grow that local audience, and you can start a Facebook group in order to do that. So that's one way you might want to take advantage of Facebook, is to start a group for locals who might love your product, and you can have sales in there once a month. I have sales once a month in my group, and it's very successful. Okay. Don't overthink everything. So you're not going to figure out everything right away. You want to get started with these key things. Get a graphic designer in place who can buy, or you can buy a branding package from, and then you'll have your business cards and your logo and your shop banner and all of those things they can give you to get you started. But don't overthink all of the things. Things aren't going to be perfect, and if you aren't ready to get a product photographer, go on YouTube and Google product photography and see what you can do. Buy yourself a light box and just practice. But invest wisely in the things that you're really not good at and that you don't want to spend your time doing, and just get that done right in the beginning so that you can drive traffic more quickly to your Etsy shop. And the most important thing is just get started. Number 10 is, remember that Etsy is just one revenue stream. So if I only had an Etsy shop, I wouldn't have had any business for the last couple years, and I would not be where I am today because I hadn't figured out what I needed to figure out in order to get my shop moving. And I will do another video on what I did this year to make my shop grow. It's different for everyone. There is no secret formula. And if people are telling you there's a secret formula or asking you to buy something related to that, then it's just not true. There are things that you can do to help, but there are things that are just how to figure it out. So remember, it's just one revenue stream. You want to try to sell at craft shows. Try to get your products into some local stores and sell on consignment. Sell on your Facebook group. Think about starting a website. These are all the ways that you can grow your business while still working on your Etsy shop. And I do believe Etsy is a great place to begin selling your handmade goods because it has a huge customer base that you can tap into, and it will actually help you to learn more about your customer in general. So that's it, 10 tips. And if you would like to hear more of these videos, just hit subscribe, like this video, leave me a comment to tell me what more you would like to hear about, and I'll make some more videos. Thanks, have a good day.